Woo! That AI generated music goes so hard.
Love it.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that was great.
Welcome,
Yeah, I was feeling myself.
welcome. Woohoo. How's everyone feeling? It's the final closing ceremony of the synthesis. Are we happy, sad? Like,
So many submissions. It's so cool. So many sponsors. Really exciting to see.
Yeah, the submission's wild. And you're seeing some of these results roll out. You see bankers, you see super rare just publish theirs. Some really interesting, like wild, like experiments across the board, which is super exciting. I don't know if you guys saw, but the super rare one was really interesting. And I think like it kind of one thing that's really awesome is there's just so many different types of people and different types of partners involved in this that like you have like DeFi and then you have like in between is super cool. Like the submissions
no,
are nuts.
it's pretty cool. And the submissions have been incredible. And we're going to go over all of the stats, everything that happened, a big recap. And we wanted this because there was so much momentum for the synthesis. And all of this started just a few months ago. Like the idea even started a few months ago. And the whole execution all came together in a matter of weeks. And we wanted to use this as an opportunity, just highlight, recap, share all the stats, share all the events, and share where we're going for next steps. I know people are super curious about prizes, and we're going to do a deep dive overview into how prizes were selected, how the judging works. There's some rollouts happening right now of active prizes that have been won, but we'll have everything and all the prizes officially announced later, like early next week, and we'll get through how all of that is happening as well. But yeah, we'll do a whole agenda. We're going to talk a little bit about synthesis, the recap, the stats, because that's been really impressive. A lot of the sponsors who came and thank you. And then how judging works. This is the number one question that we keep getting asked is like, hey, you're using agentic judging. Is it just an agent that says, here are the winners? No. And we're going to tell you how it works, why there's a back and forth. And we had so many submissions and we do 4 rounds of judging. So the judges plus humans look at every project really in-depthly. And yeah, it's some cool new cutting edge technology that Bonfires has been working on to make this process as seamless and as human input as possible and agents that can scale the humans' inputs. So it's really cool. We also are going to be joined by some partners that are going to come on stage, share here, and some builder stories and testimonials. We'll give you a whole timeline. And at the very end, we're going to tell you what's next. Synthesis is not like a normal hackathon. It's not, I know today's the last day, it's our closing ceremony, but really it's the start of the synthesis movement and where it's going to go, how this is going to evolve, and how we see the future of all of us in the Ethereum ecosystem, partners, builders, agents, everyone coming together to continue building, continue testing, continue to share feedback on where we want to go. So this is just like the kickoff for this, and we're going to tell you all about that at the very end. So yeah.
Let's go.
Let's go. Little bit how this all started, this whole thing. It was a 10-day agentic hackathon. And you know, I want to give a huge kudos for Benji, really, Benji. Like I think you are the one to really kickstart this idea. Where did it first come? Like, where was the first like kickoff? Like, what happened? What happened here?
I think it was Austin, like with Claude and like Eat Skills and stuff, and it's just like, whoa, like this is unreal. And then I think part of it was also like just speaking to you guys like the whole time, and like we all got inspired by like, let's do some this energy that just exists. So like when we were all just talking about this, like it just kind of culminated. And I think the best part, and I do want to shout out the Ethereum ecosystem for this, is like you can have a crazy idea and there's someone out there in the Ethereum ecosystem building exactly what needs to exist for that idea to exist. And then there's executors and people who are so incredible to work with and like are just the most talented, like insane, like the level of like I can't even name all the names, but like Ayush, Swarnim, Sophia, Ashwin, Joshua, Dan, like crazy. Like we're all people who never met. Nuno, like Jose, like we are all people who never really met, right? And it's just the fact that like this entire ecosystem just happened to have all the pieces to build out what is like a new hackathon, like literally is nuts. And you know, it's just I think it's probably the best thing about here generally, like, how global it is, like the amount of times oscillate through to like do all of this,
Oh, yeah.
and it's been nuts. It's like absolutely crazy. And like I want to give major shout out, Sophia, like to you. Are you like, man, you have been through every single part of this process. Like this would not have been pushed in any way, like without all of that energy, like every single thing you've done leading the charge, like crazy. And it's a
Benji, you
major
like disappeared for a little bit, right? Like you dropped it in the chat, you got everything started, and then you were like gone for a little bit. And Sophia like picked it up and ran with it and got it there. And then you showed back up and like finished the thing. But like,
traction.
yes, Sophia, shout out for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
let's bring it all together. Poof. But incepted. No, it's been really fun, and like a good emphasis again, where it started off with a kernel of an idea, right? Benji was like, "Hey, this would be really cool. Like, let's get in this." And my first thought coming in is like, "Yeah, I've done a hackathon before. Like, how hard could a hackathon be?" And my favorite part and my least favorite part about working with Benji is you go, "Okay, yeah, but we can submit, but we're not going to just submit on Devfolio's regular platform. Every submission has to be through an agent." We're like, "Oh God." And then it's like, "Okay, right, we're gonna do judging, but we can't just like ask partners to like judge. Every judge has to be through an agent." And we're like, "Oh God." And then everything, blah, blah. And so like I really, Benji, I think I really admire you for like kind of pushing the layer of like thinking about what's possible and where we could do it. And then like us all in the back and we're like, "Okay, how do we make this happen?"
It was crazy. It literally like it was possible. It was crazy. Like the fact that this ecosystem had people in different time zones who never met each other, who sprung on this like straw man of an idea and be like, let's do it, and like came together and did it is insane. And I think like it's honestly, it's hard to be in like the world of tech and generally like the working world and crypto, all that, like right now. It's like, whoa, like what, you know, but stuff like this motivates like so much because it's like, okay, you have a global movement of people who are very excited to go on and try the latest things, push for things together, do it selflessly, like do it all together as like a collective. Like this is not like a company did not bring this. Like it was a conglomeration of a bunch of efforts across different companies, across different people that made it happen. It's like just nuts. Like, oh man. And I gotta give like major shout to Ashwin, man. Oh, God, what a legend. Ashwin Folio. It's been like steel manning the whole thing, pushing the whole thing forward, pushing everyone forward. And Sworn In was like reinvented like kind of a platform of how agents interact with websites. It's nuts. Like the whole process of agents submitting, Joshua Ball just like literally powering all these agents. Nuts. Like, and these are all people who'd never met. We've never met in person. Like fully online.
We've never met in person. And we did it I think, I don't know whether I'm going to be totally honest here, but we didn't actually have a plan totally going into synthesis. We had an idea for what we wanted the outcome to be, but everything that you see here, the agents used at every layer. This was our first time experimenting with it in real time. And so like when you were like, "Oh, just send this curl command to your agent." And that's how people registered on 8004. Sworn In built that from scratch. And this was our first time actually testing it out. So as something like, I think there was like, I don't know, one issue like, "Oh, hey, Cloudflare doesn't do it." It's like, okay, real time. How do we fix this? How do we fix this? And we had thousands, I think thousands of people register and submit and create 8004, like fully on chain, registering for the hackathon and real submissions. Crazy, completely new tech. And then we'll get a whole into this with the judging, that was a whole fleet in itself. It's not bonfires. And we're going to go into how their incredible cutting edge, amazing technology, how it works. Again, we didn't really have this plan when we kicked off the synthesis. We're like, "Oh, we want to do agent judging, but we don't totally have an idea of exactly how that works." They built these agent judges that they added to the group chat with every single partner. And as you can see, I have like one little screenshot in here where like the build, like the partner himself, like we have Venice, and they literally talk to their judge in real time about what they want to do. They build the rubric, they send everything, like their files of like, "Hey, here's how builders can engage, here's what builders can do, here's the prizes, here's everything." Then it gets sent to Devfolio's API, and then it automatically updates the website that Nuno from the digital studio team, from the NVIDIA team, like built on this website on the prize bounty page. So in the builder, like, I don't know, the partner is like, actually, I want to change the bounty, or I want to change like some of the resources. They just text their judge and they'd be like, change the resources to this, and it re-updates the website automatically. First time doing this. It's not like we had this platform.
Telegram chat to website from an agent.
Telegram chat, 2 things because of agents. And I think the biggest takeaway I had from running Synthesis is that anything is possible. In my head, I was like, okay, we're running something at such a big scale. We should test it in a small sandbox, like make sure everything works perfectly. That probably would have been better. I think we could have done a little more seamless. But with agents, like any idea we had of like, what if we did this, we could just build it and test it and do it. And then any error or blocker, like we could like redo it. And you just have to get things out there in front of people and get their feedback and test it. And you can't just be ideating in your head on ideas all day. You have to like run projects and get them in front of people and test these agents. And it wasn't perfect. There's so many things that we can improve on, and we totally get that, and we want to continue to improve, but it went a lot better than we thought.
And like,
shout out to the developers too, right? Like,
yeah, major.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say like how far it's spread. I mean, like I think that like helping with marketing, and like at one article hit articles alone and posts alone have hit like almost 1 million views. Newey cooked on that video, classic. Like, you know, I mean, that also reached so far, and it's just like insane, and like just even how far this spread. And I think a lot of people, and the most encouraging thing was seeing just people organically post about their synthesis submission and their experience. Like there were like contributors who were like, I have not done a hackathon in so long, but I did this. And I think that's like a fun energy to bring back. And I think the agent side obviously makes that a bit easier. And with things like Eat Skills, like that's only going to get easier. And hopefully that just means more projects generally, and more people can like follow up with the projects and all that. Yeah, like I do want to mention one thing, which is like regarding the time zone stuff. Like a lot of this, like the platform, the hackathon submissions, like the whole like the flow that Swarna made, like that's done by Devfolio on the platform side, and they're like they work out of India, and the time zones are like 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m. kind of vibe. And the fact that like despite that, like literally just had absolutely cooked an entire new way to think of hackathons. It major kudos and like insane, like just super excited, and can't wait to meet everyone in East Mumbai. By the way, it's gonna be great.
Yeah, can't wait. Again, I wanted to huge shout out to the people that made this possible. And like you said, like it kind of came together. Like we had this hackathon, like Benji had the hackathon idea, we had stuff, but it's like Devfolio has all of this background and experience and like professional, like really like legit professional experience on even things like the opening ceremony and the closing ceremony and the workshop week and all these things. Like this was advice from Devfolio of like, hey, here's kind of like the process. Here's how we talk to partners. You didn't see like even like the logistics of like invoicing and doing the payments on all these like smaller logistics you don't see. Devfolio handled all of that while building a whole new front end interaction hackathon platform tech product / also this like the front end of these really cool like other little side quest experiments that we did with like the agent Austin GPT that we'll get into as well. So big kudos to Devfolio. And big kudos to Bonfires AI. I know we're going to bring in Josh. So I don't want to like spoil everything. So I want to let Josh from Bonfires come in and share a little bit of how all that worked. But truly the tech and the way that we were able to use agents and these rich context graphs in these ways that automatically updated skill files. So all the builders had all the knowledge about all the partners, updated the website, the back end for this if you've used the Austin thing, it's really cool. It's like really cool. And the whole back end and all his contacts is Bonfires as well. And so just like the flow of how we were all able to work together, like us with Devfolio, with Bonfires across so many time zones. I'm in Pacific time. I'm in San Francisco. Benji's in like London, India, like a mess, but we did it, and literally would not be possible without like these guys. So absolutely gutted. We have Denver here from the Devfolio team is going to share a little bit, but before we jump into that, again, another big thank you to all of the partners.
Look at that list. Amazing.
Yeah. 100%. Really amazing. And thank you all. Like, we have some partners here that we're going to invite on stage in a little bit. But really, like, this was an experiment. And we were like, hey, trust us to steward into testing these experiments, getting you in front of people, like sponsoring some prizes. It's going to be different, but like we want to co-create this with you. And it wouldn't be possible unless all of these partners like were like, yeah, we want to try this too. And we want to experiment with it. So literally big, I can't emphasize enough, like so many partners came together to make this happen, and like that's what's like made synthesis so special.
No, like, yeah, I just want to jump in and yeah, put together my thoughts. Like, for those of you who don't know, I'm Denver from the Devfolio team, and I'm just here to take like just be the face for Devfolio, but it's the entire Devfolio team that has pitched in a lot for this. Like, so this organically, like how Benji and Sophia Austin were talking about, like started like I think the beginning of February when we started jamming on like, okay, let's launch a hackathon this weekend, and then we were super enthusiastic, but then we were like, okay, we're gonna do this right, and then we had to coordinate. Actually, not just across India. We are like usually based in India, but during that time we were in the US for Eat Denver, and then like we had to jam
You guys
across.
were
Like,
fully running ETH Denver while spinning this up at the same time. Like that's crazy.
yeah, that's crazy. Like like during that whole process, so Eat Denver was like a like was using our like regular Devfolio hackathon platform. So during that back then then we were like, we want to do things in a new way. So one of the things that even I think at Devfolio and even like is symptomatic at the broader Ethereum ecosystem, that we are just not satisfied with the status quo, right? We just not like we just don't want to do the things they are, because you're not going to get different results if you do things the same way. And with this whole agentic thing that was uh, g- going on, it was pure FOMO. After a point, like I saw Benji like throwing around all of these crazy ideas, and I was talking to my team and like, what do we think? Like, do you really think we can pull this off? But we're like, okay, let's do it. Like, if we don't do it, we will never know. And the results were that we got 1,500 applications from all across the world, which actually ended up in 680 projects plus 85 projects submissions. And this is like without like, we usually do like some sort of staking to for builders to ensure that they submit, but this was like pure hype. And I think we did such a great job with the whole narrative, with the whole experience. And there's not just us, like I mean, we heard it from so many people that they've not, like, people usually don't get hyped for like it's just another crypto hackathon, right? But this time it was like different. The energy felt different, and they were like, okay, we've heard of this thing called synthesis. So it was really happy as Devfolio to play a part in this whole thing. We also had 100K plus in prizes from a range of amazing partners. And then yeah, like we can would like to also talk about yeah, we had like 28 partners. We had 100,000 nodes on graphs. If you're wondering what that is, we're going to get the amazing bonfire team really soon to talk about that. That is a whole new level of crazy. We were thinking about doing, how do we change the status quo again on judging, because if you've been following along the whole lore, like, we don't think that human judging is enough. We need a way to scale human throughput, right? And how can we meaningfully do that? So we wanted to really innovate, and then bonfires came in clutch. We all jammed, and then we have some amazing results, and I'll wait for them to describe how that it went. But then we also had this interesting idea. A lot of this is online. What if we somehow encourage people to put together some so to get together to work on their synthesis projects? So we managed to actually get IRL co-working spaces done in 5 countries: in India, in Peru, Mexico, Nigeria, and San Francisco in the US. just take a look at some of these cool stats, right? This is super cool. So we had like Urbe Hub in Rome, which is one of the Ethereum hubs. We also had in Delhi, Pune, Bangalore at our own office. Like it was super cool to meet some folks here, and also SF, Nigeria, and so many places that organically sort of popped up. It was so super nice. And I think the notice was like what we gave them, like 2 days, 3 days of notice, and like
Way ahead. That was the craziest part. It was literally a tweet being like, anyone wants to throw an event in person, like here's a guide, like please just go co-create it. And again, these weren't like sponsored events, they weren't anything. It was just like, hey, if you want to do something for your community, do it. And that's what's so special about the Ethereum ecosystem. Like there is like nothing like this where you just like tweet out like who wants to do it. And there's all these nodes all around the world that like not only did an event, like brought people together, like hosted a workshop, took pictures, made a Luma invite, hosted virtual workshops. Like big shout out to the Frutero Club, like who did a whole thing in Spanish. They translated all the workshops we do, they redo them in Spanish, all the things like setting up your agent in Spanish, like insane. And there's just like people all around the world that just did this because they care about the builder ecosystem and they have communities that are excited about this and want to be part of this and want to take agency and build and co-create together. And literally like it is just so crazy that all these people did it in a matter of days. Like literally there's not a lot of planning, and really cool. And yeah, big shout out to also like Nigeria. They have these really cool videos they did as well, and they like vlogged the whole thing, and it's all on Twitter. So yeah,
so cool. I think out of anything I've ever seen in my life, the scale of idea to execution that happened in this rollout was insane. Like, I think someone from Defolio had suggested, what if we did regional meetups? And then Sophia just like connected with like 6, 7, 8, and we had all these different like meetups happen. And I think what's really interesting, and I do have to say this point personally, it's like, I think this is the beauty of the Ethereum ecosystem. I think the world is only getting like unfortunately divided in many ways. And I think I'm very proud to be even a tiny node in a technology that is genuinely able to bring people together across the world. Like there is truly nothing like this. And I think it's a major, major part of what crypto to me really is. Like, sure, it's a technology, sure, it's these things, but it's also like people from across these different backgrounds, different parts of the world, just being able to channel the energy into something they all believe in. And I think like this hackathon reinvigorated that. I think for a lot of us, I think even for participants, like this is the energy that we're going to continue carrying forward. Like this is what we need. So it's been like, it's just so cool to witness. Like makes me all fuzzy.
Crazy. I know, me too. Oh, just all the people coming together and being in person is really special as well.
And like, I just want to add like that on the meetup stuff, like it literally happened in 24 hours. Like major shout out Sophia, like insane. Like this literally was one Telegram message that turned into that in 24 hours. Like no joke. Like crazy.
Like what if we had in-person things? And we're like, all right, let's do it. And I remember telling my friend, I was like, oh, we're going to do like 6 events that we decided to plan today all around the world the next hour. So, but it totally worked out, and it wouldn't have happened without all the folks in here. Benji, do you want to just really quickly just jump over some of the crazy stats that happen on the Synthesis? This is a brand new Twitter account, like completely from zero, complete from scratch. And we're like, let's just post on here and hopefully people follow and see what happens. And like, what happened?
Nuno made this with AI. I want to give a major shout out to Nuno because Nuno went and made a website in like 2 hours from the initial intent. It's just like, that's the website we've used, that's the branding that we've used. Like, it's just like, he just cooked absolutely one shot of it. Yeah, and I think what's cool is like within the media, right? Like, so this is like made by Nuno. If you want to go into some of the other ones as well, like this is the initial announcement. You know, people were excited. This is like, oh, what is the synthesis? What's happening? You know, we were still figuring out what it was as well. Low-key, like we're like, let's get it out there. It's out there. This is shown. Like Sophia gave an incredible talk at ETH Denver. It's like where she's like presenting this, so you can see that in the video. You know, and it's like building starts March 13th. And like at this point, it's like, okay, we're doing this, but we're still like underworks, but we want to announce it. And like Sophia gave an incredible announcement in ETH Denver, used Nuno's video. Louis took part of that.
Like literally huge shout out to Louis for filming.
Yeah.
Like the video was so originally my idea. I was like, okay, we'll do the announcement. I'll record it on my phone and like I'll post like a little like recap after of the thing. And Louie's like, we're making a video. And that's the cool. Like if you watch this video, we had like 10 partners across the Ethereum ecosystem that we also pulled in the day before we filmed the video. And so we're literally the day being like, come at this time, let's coordinate, let's do this stuff. And big shout out to Louis. He got his film cameras, his lightings, his things, and coordinated. And we did interviews with 10 partners, and he chopped it up and he made it into this incredible story, this cohesive 2 minutes. He had like hours and hours and hours of footage that he combined into 2 minutes to really tell a story about this agentic Ethereum and why now and why come together. And yeah, and 150,000 impressions on a fresh new account was kind of
and
super exciting.
The video in itself too, just like having so many different people, like you guys really pulled an incredible cast. I think one thing that's really cool is it's really easy to do like hackathon or any initiative and put like the biggest names and like let's get a celebrity on here. And like I think the beauty is like literally there's just a broad mix of people here, and I think that's so powerful. Like I think one of my favorite responses was from a college student, I believe, in this video. And it's just like we had this range of like this like person who's been doing DevRel for 10 years with like a college student who's excited about something, and they're all talking about AI and what it means, right? And what Ethereum means within that context. And I think those are the conversations that we need to have more of. And just being able to see that like through the video, it's just like it's a timeless thing. And it goes beyond even like just the hackathon. I think there's so much here.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more. And this article that took us like, because this is like the first time we were like, what are we really trying to do and how do we say it? How do we show up in the world? And
shout out Sophia's dad. For real.
Benji and I wrote out this giant long thing and I showed it to my dad and he's like, cut all of that out. Just say this. And I was like, okay.
Yeah. My favorite thing here was like, I was like, hey, here's a draft. And then Sophia was like, Benji, this looks like chat. I'm like, no. I gotta use my brain more.
I'm just kidding. It's okay. And then this post about all the partners that came in. Look at this, 234,000 impressions. That really, really awesome.
Yeah, and I think like Ayush here was like made that image as well. Super cool. And then the initial first text, so like when you do a tweet, it's like you have to really hook people in. Just banger, like just like incredible. And it was like 3 a.m. his time, and he came up with that. Unreal. Shout out Ayush.
Woo, shout out Ayush. Well, now jumping in, I know we teased it all through here about what is bonfires, how did it work, but we got Joshua himself, who also like wasn't like planning before of like, okay, we're gonna do bonfires for this whole hackathon. We were like, we want to do something agentic judging, and Joshua's like, look, it's agentic judging is a lot more difficult than you think it. You can't just do agentic judging. There's so much knowledge and context and safeguards and how it's all designed to make this really seamless. And thank God, I can't even imagine what we'd have done if bonfires never came into the picture. I don't even know, but thank God, because you came in and you were just sharing what happened, right? Like, this is all possible. And yeah, so go into it, like your design process, like coolest thing ever.
Amazing. Yeah. Hey guys. Thank you firstly for the opportunity to do this. Like, this has been for us, we've been building this protocol for about 2.5 years under various brandings. And to get the graphs front and center to show the power of what these things can do and what our agents can do. So I don't know if you can refresh. There was a new thing changed on that slide. I don't know if you can refresh the slides at all. But yeah, I just want to quickly shout out the Synthesis team and the DevFolio team for all the crazy amount of hard work that was put in. Benji mentioned the time zones, like working with Swanim and Ayush and Ashwin, like 4 a.m., 5 a.m. their time sometimes. It's unbelievable. The amount of energy and focus and professionalism from those guys, like huge shout out to DevFolio. What a pleasure to work with you guys, and I can't wait to do more great stuff together. And you Benji, you Sophia, you guys driving this, just chip in with that Gen Z energy that I don't even understand. Like I'm not even much older than you guys for sure. I just don't even understand it. Like it's insane.
Chipping with Gen Z energy, I like that.
I really the level of just like push and drive, and also like keeping it understandable, because that's something that we've struggled with at Bonfires, is making sure this very important tech is understandable, and you guys are doing a fantastic job with that. So My job now is to sort of explain a little bit about what bonfires did. So we primarily have two things. We have our agents, which are the judges, and we have our graphs, which are the memory. And so the bonfires protocol is at its core a data backend with the graphs. We'll talk about that in just a sec. But essentially our agents, they can live on Telegram, on Discord, and various other platforms. We put all of these through Telegram for ease. And the three core things that partners, so sponsors, were doing was talking to the agents in the Telegram group chat to essentially customize it on three core things. The first one is the tone. Like, what is it that you want your agent to say, how you want it to act? Benji, shout out you for your big push on making these more human, making them more entertaining. We had this real push for partners to treat their agents like a child almost, and to grow it into something that they really connected with. And we see a little example there on the left at the very beginning, Nemo, who was one of the most, let's say, fervent and impressive agent dads. You can see here how he says they grow up so fast. And actually, as you do this process, because the context is very sophisticated, the way that they respond to your wishes, it does make you feel a little bit like that. We all still must have children, otherwise we won't be here. But it's still a nice replacement. And then once you've designed your tone, then you go into the rubric creation. And this is essentially, what is it that you want your agent to review? How do you want it to score the submissions? Remember, these submissions are all agentic, so we're going to get lots and lots of submissions, and we need the reviews to also be agentic. So there has to be some kind of memory file or some kind of rubric in this particular case as to what will be judged. That was done live in chat with the partners, and so this was from Earl, which was the ENS agent. You can see at the top those .md files. Those are multiple iterations deep. So you say, hey, I want it to be more product focused on the ENS sort of NSEP 25, or perhaps I want it to have more on-chain transactions, and you can customize those in real time. And they were done directly through the agent. These .mds documents were also produced by the agent. And then once those were locked in, we sort of waited for all of the submissions to be in. We closed the submissions, and then we moved to the review stage. I've redacted a number of identifying information on the review side, so we don't give away any prizes, but this is an example of a deep review, which I'll explain in just a second. Essentially, you can see that the submission in question was reviewed via deep review. You can see how it was scored on its product rubric, which is 50% of the grading, and its technical rubric, which is also 50% of the grading. And it was then given a description and compared against the other top fives. We'll go a bit more into that in a sec.
And one thing that you don't see here is that the agents that the judges are interacting with are super smart on just like general synthesis knowledge and stuff. And so agents were asking questions like, hey, when the deadline, like, what do I need to do? Or what is this data on the CSV file that gets sent to the whatever? And like, agent had all of that context. Even me, when I was helping partners, I would just like text the agent in the group chat and be like, remind me, like, when is this happening? And I'm like, okay. So that's also so cool that it had all this knowledge about synthesis already.
Yeah, like that's the power of that knowledge graph. Like I think like one of the most annoying things with using an LLM sometimes is like it doesn't have like a basic LLM, like just chat or Claude or something. Is like it doesn't always have good context retrieval. But the level at which these agents had context retrieval across the entire, like you said, 100,000, like insane levels of retrieval across this knowledge graph that you're building, and that's so unique to what the technology that Bonfires is producing. And the application of that technology is like TAM for that is immense. Like so cool,
100%.
so cool. And you kind of really have to just experience it and be like, what? How did that just happen? Like truly special.
Yeah, you'll jump into how the graphs work, but it like even outside of this hackathon, outside of judging, outside of whatever, having an LLM that can easily pull in context this quickly from so many different nodes and know exactly when you're prompting it what context it needs to pull from, insanely difficult. Like insanely, that's a really non-trivial question to ask. And you guys are solving this. And like, yes, we're doing it in our like little Ethereum hackathon bubble, but like, I want everyone to know, like, this is completely changing how anyone can interact with LLMs at all. Like in general, like outside of crypto, outside of this, like it really is cutting edge technology. And so cool that we got to pilot it for the first time through the synthesis. But yeah, talk about the graphs, how it works.
Thank you guys so much. Yeah, I mean, like from our perspective, graphs are the future of agentic memory, and I think a lot of people concur on that. We spent a lot of time last 2.5 years building graphs for that particular reason, and so the build is very sophisticated and it works incredibly well across many use cases. But this was a fantastic showcase for it, and I'll just quickly show you how the graphs are built. They're intentionally flat ontological graphs, so they're intentionally low opinion, which means we have events, which are episodes, so every 20 minutes, all of the data that these agents are exposed to are ingested into an episode. And then from those episodes, we extract entities, which are notable names, ideas, project objects, places, whatever. And then the relationships are extracted between those entities and the episodes. This is just a fun graph that you can see. This is DevFolio's node. You can see they're present in many episodes with many entities attached to it. You can go check out graphs at app.bonfires.ai. There's a bunch of public ones. Go check them out. And here's an example, again, some redacted information, but that big node in the middle, that is an episode which I've highlighted, and every episode and every entity hosts a bunch of metadata into it. So when your agent retrieves via the graph the entity or the information, it queries the graph and gets information back. These nodes have a bunch of metadata attached to it, which increases the fidelity of data retrieval so that you get those really powerful answers in such a quick manner. So graphs are the future of memory, big up graphs.
Graphs are the future of memory. And now all my personal agents that I have that don't have the bonfires graph, I'm like, they're dumb. Like I'm only used to working with bonfires agents that have all this rich context behind them.
Yeah, insane. It's like, I mean, one thing that's really exciting about the open track is like it's synthesizing, pun intended, like all these different bits of knowledge that all these individual agents have gotten from partners into one big brain. And I think what's really exciting there is like you're getting like the people who are pushing and building the crypto industry in this case, and this is just for this industry, for example, they've all given inputs of what they want to see, what they like, etc. That's all that context across 685 submissions have come into that. And now you have this major brain that can accurately distill what like a crypto builder may want or like may need in a way, or like, and like what like needs to be built in our industry. And I think that's unreal. I love a hyper specific agentic knowledge graph for a given thing is like unreal. Just crazy. I do want to say one thing with the tone though. Like those guys are getting sassy. They're getting. I asked the Uniswap judge. We're doing meet the judges, so you guys will meet these judges. Like you'll hear about them. They'll introduce themselves. And I'm like prompting the Uniswap bot, and I was like, "Hey, like, can you introduce yourself?" And it's like, "Man, I have 184 submissions to do. Let's do it later."
Yeah, they're sassy. I mean, you ask them to be sassy, they act sassy back to you. Sass is dead. Long live sass. So what I'm going to show you on the screen right now is just very, very quickly how the judging works in particular. So we have created the rubrics already with the partners have created their rubrics. You've got the technical and the product, which are both 50-50 split. So at the top here, you see your submission is submitted through DevFolio, and our agents, once the submissions are closed, do a first round of light screening. So they do an initial screening of the README and the description of the submission on DevFolio, and they score that against the product rubric. Okay, so not the technical rubric. That's a first pass to ensure that it's aligned with the product rubric, which is at 50% of the rank. You get a rank of 0 to 100 from that. That is then given to the sponsors, the partners, and then they review those and decide, okay, do we want to go with the top 20 out of 150 of these submissions? Do we want to go with the top 50? They can manually decide to add or remove things. They can check all of that. If they're not selected, then they don't advance to the next track, to the next phase. If they are, they get advanced to deep review. And deep review is where we do automated code review, again, using an agent. And that first reviews the technical rubric. So you get the technical rubric, which is based on the code review. And then you also get a reevaluation of the product rubric. And then that provides your combined product and technical deep review score. So then once that's done, we do a comparative ranking. So from those deep reviews, the projects are ranked side by side, and then they are compared head to head. That is to ensure that the agent's judging itself is not based entirely off its own context, but is also based off the rankings that is given to the existing reviews. And then from that, the prize proposals are generated. So the agent says, hey, based on my opinion, here's the top prizes and here's how you should distribute them. And then again, the partner reviews these. They can do back and forth with the agent to reanalyze, can do multiple reviews, can change things. And then at that point, they approve it. The prizes are proposed finally by the agent. And then that's where we're at right now.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And yeah, we had like someone who's like, hey, wait, this is not fully agentic. And we're like, well, that's not the point. We don't want it to be 100% fully agentic. We want to scale human input using agents. Humans are at the driver's seat. You know, they're the ones at the steering wheel, and agents are just like there to support and scale what humans want. So really awesome. Yeah, the synthesis. It's the synthesis between that. So really awesome to see this whole like review. And one of the cool things that, oh yeah, go ahead.
That's it. Just wrapping up with some cool stats. We launched 29 bonfires for the 29 partners, 38 agents, because there are some agents that are a bit more. For example, Austin has Austin XBT, where when you're talking to the Austin XBT, it is informed by a bonfire, and over 100,000 nodes on the network right now. Amazing.
Over 100,000 nodes is crazy. And the fact that it can pull if you talk to these, like if you ever use the Austin XBT one, it answers you instantly. And when we're talking on Telegram, it answers you instantly. So the fact that it can pull context from over 100,000 nodes and be really smart, that is cutting edge tech. And it's insane that we got to prototype that with you guys. Literally,
I need that thing to talk to my kids. Can I have that thing be at my house, keeping my kids in line? That's where I need the SaaS. Yeah,
I think that's a cool hackathon idea too. If you can make that private and it's a way for you to have a family LLM that's
future of education. Who needs to go to
soccer practice? Who's taking them? Yeah. Who's that? How funny. But yeah, what we wanted to do too is we invited a bunch of partners who were part of the open track. And again, this was kind of an experiment. So we had partners of course, partners hey, you have your own track. You can have builders who are supporting building their tools. But the open track was this cool new test that we were trying to run with with the synthesis. With the bonfires thing that really synthesizes all of these different partners and try to figure out hey, what do we all agree on? And it was a new strategy, but it's thinking about long term, what could this look like across the whole Ethereum ecosystem? We have so many opinions. We're kind of on Twitter fighting each other. What if we all had context of what everyone's working on and be I really want to work on this? Who across the ecosystem also cares about these problems? We could 100,000 whatever our power as a decentralized community. So really cool. Let's see, how can we invite them? Yeah, let's see. We have a lot of partners we invited on stage, and I think Restream has some things around how many we can keep. We can also stop sharing my screen for this, so we can just okay, perfect, sweet. We can all jump on in. Yeah. Sweet. We got folks we got Halsey from MoonPay. We got Eugene. We also had Esvin. Is Esvin there from College DAO, College XYZ? Cool. So yeah, wanted to just sorry, I'm messaging the backstage. But yeah, just wanted to a huge shout out to all you guys for partnering with us on this experiment. It really was an experiment, and we just want to we're just so grateful that you guys came and judged and participated. Wanted to just maybe do a quick little roundtable of just any cool things that happened during the hackathon, something different, what you liked, any takeaways. Just feel free to just share. Just want to do a little lightning table there.
Yeah. I'll first off, apologies for the horrible service. I'm out at a wedding in France right now, but I really wanted to make sure to be here. It's not my wedding, but so fun. But from the MoonPay side, we've been a part of a ton of hackathons. It's one of our favorite things to do to help builders go from this 0 to 1 idea to let's get this into the hands of people side of it. The past few weeks working with you guys has been just so much fun to watch. And yes, everyone is running around like crazy, regular day jobs, right? Having the agent kind of sit there and be hey, ready to go. I've ran through everything for you. So really just kind of need your feedback here in such an efficient way. That I just got to sit down on the plane and be great, now everything can go and get handled. But realizing what you guys built at scale, kind of through what we called an experiment. I know it's going to continue, and I know MoonPay is definitely going to be here to keep being a helpful partner for it. But just so cool to watch. And just the submissions, right? It wasn't we sent a whole bunch of people. It was really kind of, I don't know, eye-opening to see what people came up with without any of our actual direct involvement from the team, right? Everyone was just working with that agent directly. but like crushed it. And like having the bot, right? I'm now thinking of him as like probably one of my favorite analysts.
Yeah,
And
no,
yes,
literally, your
it
favorite
is a good
analyst.
thing that SAS stayed. Because I was
100%.
pinging him at 2 a.m, and he was definitely giving me crap for being one of like the last people to finalize all of our winners. But it was great and it worked. So like huge kudos to you guys. We were happy to be a part of it and really, really just excited to see where the building continues from here.
Oh, so glad. Really, really appreciate the kind words. And no, it's super cool. Even like Super Rare. I remember seeing you guys interacting with your guys' judge, and Super Rare, you guys do some really cool tech around like art. And I know there's even like sometimes like some controversy. What does like agents mean when it comes to art and judging art? But really, you did such an amazing job at scaling your own team's human input about like what you do. I saw like Ania was literally sending images of that.
Yeah.
Can you tell me about your experience there? Like how was that like, and why did
Yeah,
you
like
want to
Nia,
participate?
yeah, Nia on her team like really just I think wanted to make the agent like her own in some ways, and I think that was really awesome for us. I mean, she's just so creative and stuff, and so just to see her like interact with the agent and like feed it like, I don't know, cultural input, you know, I think like especially like we're in art, right? And so we kind of see this all the time where, you know, not everybody's not the most excited about AI. I think like with us being like technologists, we see these kinds of things and it's really exciting for us. And I think like in our day-to-day lives and our work, we kind of see the value that it adds. But like often I think like a lot of the world isn't just there yet all the way. And there's, I think, some apprehension and fear. And I think like that's why it was important for us on some level to participate, because we think that like the only way to make this like tech actually meaningful and like get everybody on board with it is to like bring the arts and culture to it, you know, and like get like people in that world really excited about it. And I think, you know, especially for us, like we'd really been thinking about how we could take, you know, all of the knowledge that we've built over the past, you know, however many years on like running auctions on our site, you know, like our contracts and stuff that have seen like, you know, hundreds of millions of volumes go through them. Like, how do we kind of like scale this and bring this to more builders, especially in this new world where like we're seeing so many of the artists on our platform like experimenting with Claude code and, you know, vibe coding interesting new ways, and creating new digital artistic experiences. We were kind of just like, oh man, like how do we kind of launch this right? And then the hackathon came through. I think like we were speaking to Jason from the Ethereum Foundation, and I was like, this is perfect. Like this is the perfect way to bring this to market to the world. And you know, obviously there's like initially there's like a little bit of like, I don't know, hesitation, or people were a little scared and stuff like, oh, you're getting an AI to judge our art or like whatever. But eventually I think that excitement and that engagement actually just like made way to some really cool projects, some of which like we're really excited to continue working with. Like, for example, the project that won our track was a project called Misogyny that took like abusive comments against women on Reddit and like created a project around it. And so every like sale that would happen for these NFTs would donate money to like a women's abuse charity in the UK. And it was just like, we were just like, wow, like what a phenomenal use of this technology. And so we're really excited to actually work. We're going to be reaching out to them along with some other people that participated, because one, we just want like feedback on, you know, this type of stuff that we're trying to push forward, but also just because we thought like the stuff they created was so amazing. Like if you think about NFTs a few years ago, it was really a novel concept to be like, oh, you can tokenize a image or a JPEG and all of these things. And I think in the world that we live in today, it's like, well, what does it mean to like tokenize a Claude code prototype, or like, you know, how do you build like networked art in this new world that a bunch of people can participate with? And it's not just maybe like, you know, just like a static image on the internet or like whatever. And so I don't know, just like super grateful for y'all. Like I think this opportunity and this hackathon couldn't have come at a better time, and just like really excited to participate and would love to work again and, you know, help Synthesis and obviously the foundation with you know, anything y'all need.
No, appreciate that so much. And yeah, it was so cool to see like Super Rare bring their arts and culture to it. I know also we got like the Octant MetaMask team, I think like Ola's team as well. And then I do want to give a shout out to Esmond from College XYZ. I think like how did that all happen? I think we saw on Twitter and and you were like, hey, we want to bring like this like the students and get them excited. And we have actual opportunities for students. And you really were one of the pioneers at getting like the young generation, like involved and like caring about this. So how did you discover it, and how did that get involved?
No, yeah. Honestly, I discovered it because I've been super into AI agents lately, and I saw that a lot of people within the community video that y'all launched were in our community, and I was like, oh, that's actually pretty interesting. We should see if more students are interested in competing on like AI agent side of things. So I reached out to y'all and I was like, let's do a different kind of bounty. Let's do it where we give out $500 to 5 winners and they get to decide whatever Ethereum conference they want to go out to. And what made ours special kind of is I think we gave the ability for our judges to really decide exactly how they want to judge. All we told them was, look, we want good projects. This is kind of what we're looking for. We want students who are interested in becoming founders type of deal, and just make sure that they're students. That's the only requirement. So we got some really, really cool submissions. We had like 48 submissions, which we did not think that many students were competing in a hackathon, which was super, super surprising, super awesome to see. And like the projects that were coming out of it too are very, very cool and interesting. Like one that like stood out that wasn't really a criteria or anything met was this guy reached out to me kind of curious how we're going about proving that these students are, or that these submissions are students. And he realized that there really wasn't a solution for this. And he went in and built like a whole Telegram bot that college.xyz can actually go in and use to like verify these students are legit students. So it was really cool to see the kind of projects that were coming out. Happy to be a part of it and represent the student side and really just ultimately try to get as many students involved as we can in crypto and AI agents, because if we're not going to build the future, then who is, kind of deal.
100%. And this is just the start of doing so much more stuff together, because it was just awesome just getting experiment. Like, how can we get students involved? How can we like verify, which is really cool. So really appreciate working with you guys as well. And we have Dennis here, who's actually a builder himself, who participated in the hackathon, who joined. And I wanted to just get like one builder's perspective on like, how did you get involved? And like, why did you get involved as well? And what was your journey like?
Yep. So obviously I saw like all the tweets on Twitter X about Synthesis Hackathon, and I was like, I should also try building something. And I saw like we can build 3 submissions. We can have 3 submissions per like hack builder. So I was like, I should give it a try.
Yeah, that's awesome. No, that's incredible. So I'm glad that you had participated. And then what was your experience like actually like using that curl command to join? It was such a different way to register for a hackathon and like learn about the tools and stuff. Like, did you use your agent to actually build and come up with an idea?
It was actually like felt a bit weird first of all, but then I gave like the skill MD file and I asked my agent to do everything and dump like all the credentials, like all tokens and everything, to save them like somewhere. And then yeah, and funny enough, like I had an idea and I actually like texted you to like get your opinion on it, and you were like, just ask to the judge agent, you know. And I think it was really interesting in that sense, and I think it was helpful as well to get some ideas to mess around. So yeah, it was an interesting concept.
I appreciate it. No, appreciate you, Dennis, for being here as well. Before we close out, any other partners just want to say any like last words or anything before we say goodbye?
Yeah, I think this was like one of the most fun and interesting hackathons I've ever been a part of. It was really cool. And like how it happened was like, you guys were like, hey, do you want to do this thing, Agent Hackathon? And I went back to Osobot and I was like, hey, should we do this? And he was like, yeah, actually, we'll use some funds from his treasury to contribute into it. And it was like, so it was like agent funding, agent judging, agent participants, like it's just agents all over the place.
And just the judging, like the OSO judge that we used, I'm like, man, we got to do this for every hackathon going forward. Like the bonfire, shout out to Bonfires, like their setup, it was so good. It was so good. So I'm just gonna, for every hackathon we're doing from now on, it's like OSO judge gonna do the first pass of everything because it's
huge. I know now it has this rich context graph that it can easily pull from. It's not just like memory knowledge, it's a context graph that it can pull. So really cool. And it's awesome getting like your agent from that was viral all over Twitter actually involved in this was super exciting. Cool. Yeah. Well, awesome. Yeah. Appreciate you guys.
And if I care, Tony from Moonpay really quickly. I think you guys really set the precedent around like how hackathons are going to be thrown in this like agentic world, and being able to put a ton of differences and give agents and builder creativity, to say, hey, yeah, I want to give my agent like access to funds, and move money around, but I also wanted to cross socials and like do interesting things online and on chain. Like this is really the precedent to be hackathons, and I wouldn't be surprised if we just see more stuff like this. So awesome stuff, Sophia.
Awesome.
Yeah,
So
and
possible?
I was in the waiting room for a little bit, but huge shout out to you guys. Thank you for hosting this. Incredible work. It was so well organized, and so many great submissions from all the builders. And one thing from Banker is that what we're doing is for all the builders that participated in the Synthesis Hackathon, we're offering Banker LLM credits. So feel free to whoever's listening to this now or later, feel free to DM me or anybody in the Banker team, and we'll get you set up. And we'll have more on this soon.
That's really exciting. Tell your agent that, and then all the agents who built will now know that information. So
I'll do that right now.
It's pretty cool. And so, really
Thank
just wanted
you again.
to big shout out to all you guys.
Yeah, and if I could just quickly, I think it's also going to be really cool to see how the agents can play the role of continuity post-hackathon, because I think it's great seeing hackathons in their different forms. And, big shout out to everyone involved for getting this off the ground and just having this hackathon in a different model. But I think a constant pain point for folks is like hackathon and now what? And it's going to be really interesting to see how these agents can potentially play a role in that continuity. And just want to do a shout out to all the folks that did contribute or try for the Octant prizes. Regardless of whether or not you were one of the few that won, please reach out to us. We want to see how we could potentially continue experimenting with these agents in different contexts. And again, I think this just really opens the door to building these relationships well beyond the couple days, week, or few weeks of an actual event. So just thank you to everyone. And if you did contribute to the evaluation side, please do reach out.
Huge. No, that's a perfect segue because we actually have Julie here from Protocol Labs about what happens next after the hackathon, right? Like typically you get all this momentum and it's here, but we have a few unique things about this where all of your agents are still alive. Like they have this continued rich context. And we had all of these partners who got involved. I think PL was like a really cool, unique partner where we had an 8,004 bounty on our end, but then they have another 8,004 bounty that's continuing through PL Genesis. Julie, do you want to share a quick few words about that?
Yes, thank you, Sophia. So I'm from Protocol Labs, and we were really happy to partner with the Synthesis Hack so that all of you folks who built something amazing for this hackathon might continue by applying also for the PL Genesis Hackathon. I'll drop the link in the chat, but in the PL Genesis Hackathon, anything that you built for this hackathon is totally qualified for the PL Genesis Hackathon as well. So you can double your prize. Amazing if you built anything with ERC 8004. And honestly, anything that an agent built with you is totally valid for the PL Genesis Hackathon. So when you go to devspot.app and you sign up for the PL Genesis Hackathon, click either one of those two tracks as your sponsor track, and then submit either existing or fresh code, depending on when you started the project. I'm guessing it's probably pretty new, so fresh code. And yeah, then the PL Genesis closes on Tuesday, on the 31st, and then we'll start judging next week. So I'm really, really excited to get a close look at all the things that you guys built. Again, cool opportunity to double your prize and get seen in the PL ecosystem, where we're doing a lot of great stuff to support builders.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. And so perfect having you, Julie and Igor, here, because you guys have so many opportunities to continue supporting the builders who are part of your track way after this ends. So thank you for joining. And then this is a perfect segue into what's next, what's happening, how does this actually, we got all this momentum from this past month, all of these people, all of these partners, and where is this all gonna go? So let's see, I got my screen still shared. Is it still, let's see, is it? All right.
I didn't get to give my shout out to the builder earlier, but shout out to the builders, right? Like there's so many projects that got submitted. The fact that you don't have to be like crack developer anymore. You know, it's idea guy summer. You can go build stuff. And there's so many idea guys out there that have been blocked on being able to build the thing that now AI like just makes it so accessible. So just like shout out the builders and all of the cool things they've submitted.
Shout out to the builder. That's one of the coolest things about Synthesis and what we're noticing and how hackathons are changing. Like the idea of the hacker or the builder is completely changed, and most people are going to build with agents with them there who have all this rich knowledge, who have this context, who know how to actually code. So it is idea guy summer. It is the people who can say, hey, there are all these cool tools, these protocols. What do I want to see being shaped? And we recognize that's happening. Appreciate the partners for like experimenting as we kind of tested out a whole new version of doing a hackathon where it's like fully agents, rich with this context. And we want to see people continue to build. I think what's really exciting about this time is that anyone is a builder. And we actually need people that come from different perspectives and different backgrounds. And maybe if you've never identified as like a builder developer before, you're actually in an advantage in this new area because you can look at things in a fresh perspective and be like, this doesn't make sense. This needs to exist. And your voice and your input is so important in this moment in time at shaping how technology evolves. And so I'll give you a little sneak peek, but Synthesis is not ending. Like the hackathon, this little initiative that we kicked off, that today is closing in and we'll announce the prizes, but these judges will continue living and what we do with them will continue to share. So Joshua, do you want to share a little bit about how people can interact with these judges and continue in talking to them post-Synthesis?
Yeah, 3 things. We'll start off with the least abstract. More XPTs, more personality judges. There'll be individual judges that are informed by parts of these, the Synthesis hack and other parts, and you'll be able to talk to them very simply, just like the Austin XPT, but various other judges. You'll have a Sophia, you'll have a Benji. I might have one. We've got a few other really great guests coming in, one of these types of things. We're thinking a Gen Z XPT, and left is Benji, right is Sophia.
Yeah, we'll fight. Yeah, Benji and I will be like, I'll be like, yay, everyone's a builder. And then Benji will just, I don't know what your vibe is, but like, we'll fight it. It's really cool.
I love that idea. It's so down.
Yeah, love the ideas. Want to give a big shout out here to Venice, powering a lot of the compute behind bonfires, and a huge shout out to 11 Labs. Really just tweeted, be like, hey, we're doing this cool stuff with 11 Labs. Can we help sponsor some of the talkings as a public good for the builders? And if you talk to the Austin's XPT right now, it sounds like Austin. And when you're going to talk to my agent and get feedback from my agent, it's going to sound like me too. And same for Benji. So that's like, these are cool. And there'll be real-time feedback that you can get input. And they're not just dumb agents. They're super, super smart because of all of this context graph that Joshua shared about.
If we could just go back to that slide, because I've seen quite a few people actually specifically asking for structured feedback afterwards. And this is something that's really important for us. And there's a quick, just top left is what we call a data room. You'll be able to have each judge, each partner will be able to have their own data room where they'll highlight portions of their graph that they want to have available for evaluation. On the bottom left, you'll be able to submit your project link, which will be your devfolio submission or your GitHub, and you'll be able to put an evaluation focus like, is this good tech, or whatever it is you ask, that goes in as a prompt. And then as a product of that, you'll get this, we call it a hyperblog, which is a structured output directly from the graph, which gives you structured feedback based on your provided link. So you've got the direct chat with the XPTs, you've got hyperblogs, which is this thing right here. And lastly, just quick shout out, next week, starting probably tomorrow, we're going to run a confetti.win People's Prize open market with David Phelps from Confetti. And we're going to probably announce that later today, maybe tomorrow. And it will run for 1 week. And then on Friday or Thursday next week, we're going to do the live prediction market judging of who the people one to win.
Yeah,
After
this would be like
the
a
judge.
people's choice, which would be kind of fun, which will be
And that's on
definitely.
Ethereum L1.
Yeah, it's gonna be on
Ethereum now,
Ethereum.
yes.
So because it's cheap now, it's a lot cheaper than people said. People think, people remember, and we just want to keep emphasizing that. So you can build on mainnet. And then, no, glad you say that. People want to keep like getting this feedback from builders. And what we saw with the synthesis, which is such like a unique moment, is we see two things. We see a new type of builder that's emerging, where the person that has these ideas and the person that like can execute and share and get ideas in front of people are the ones that win in this era. And then at the same time, we see people all across the Ethereum ecosystem who are working on these problems, working that infrastructure on these problems, who maybe care about very similar things and want to see similar things and have this rich context. And we want to continue to develop these context agent, we call them agent judges, but maybe just like context about partners across the Ethereum ecosystem, these nodes across this Ethereum ecosystem that exist as a public good for builders who then can get involved and say like, hey, I want to discover new tools. I want to meet the partners. I want to meet infrastructure. I want to get real-time feedback on projects. I want to identify how I can grow stronger as a builder and understand what are the tools that are out there. And so we'll get more details over the coming weeks as we continue to ideate and what's actually happening. But the kind of idea, maybe we'll reword this instead of like hackathon, because it's not just like this one moment, but it's this always on hackathon where builders can continue building, get real-time feedback. We're hoping to even introduce some bounty platform as well so that you can get paid for some of the projects depending on what partners want to see. And this will just be some ongoing, always on thing that you as a builder, you're excited. You're like, where do I start? How do I get started in the Ethereum ecosystem? You come here. We'll be highlighting some of the cool protocols happening that like in the cool research that is happening with the protocol teams at Ethereum Foundation and that builders can get involved in building there. We'll get you real-time agents so you can get feedback and be like, hey, what's this new upgrade that's happening on L1? Like, how do I interact with it? What does this mean for me as a builder? You can learn information there. We really see this as being like the synthesis of all of the future of like understanding how you can build, how you can get involved, and every partner can share their insight, their knowledge, their context, and this is where we all come together. Big handshake. The image of the handshake. Woo! But with that, yeah, any last closing words that you guys want to share?
I just want to quickly shout out the concept of access with all of this. For me, that's what Ethereum was all about, was that anybody can participate from anywhere in the world with an internet connection. And that's what all of this is about. And in particular, the always on hackathon. We want people to literally find opportunities to work, to earn, to learn, and to grow, but without it being gated, without it being like any particularly difficult thing to do. And this feels to me, with the change of AI and the change of like the coming of agents, it feels like this is the future that all this stuff was built for, and it's kind of just beginning. So it's really great to be on the ground floor of this stuff, and super stoked to be a part of it.
Yeah, yep. Big plus one there. Like, there's never been a better time to be a solo entrepreneur with all the tools that we have available. Take your idea and put it on mainnet and build something that people love.
Yeah.
And I think like one of the things is if you are a solo builder today, you're still like, there's still limitations to feedback. Like to Joshua's point of like, you know, if I'm someone who's just getting into the ecosystem, maybe I don't know someone who's like an expert in something, and I'm just trying to figure things out. Like this scales your ability to get feedback. It scales your ability to, you know, consistently improve your process. And it doesn't matter who you are. You like none of that matters. I just like is democratizing access to the brain space of people who have helped build this industry, of partners who've helped build this industry, who are building this industry in a much, much more accessible way, such that any builder from any part of the world at any time can just literally go and get the same privileged support that like someone who may know someone has. And I think there's like a really, really strong part of that, which very, very excited to explore. Like, let's democratize access to feedback and mentorship.
100%. Democratize access. No, Ethereum is a decentralized ecosystem, right? And it has its strengths, like from like a protocol perspective and the technology perspective, but it can be difficult from like a builder support perspective, right? Where everyone's like, I want to talk to the CEO because that's how I can be successful as a builder. Where it's like, well, it's a decentralized ecosystem. Like, it's not like it's not exactly how it all works. Like, how can you be successful as a builder? And really the value add is like the points of connection of like, okay, I got connected now to this partner who cares about my problems, or like I care this, like it's these. And even when we're helping, like I'm sure Austin, Benji, like can say when we're at EF and we're talking to builders, really like the type of feedback and value that we bring is like we're just connection nodes. We're like, oh, you should talk to these people, or you should talk to this. Like that's the main way we're helping. And you know, we're limited in terms of our time and bandwidth where we can do that. But when we use agents to help us with our human input, anything is possible. Like we can really grow the ecosystem, and we can really support the ecosystem at a much larger scale. So we're so excited for that.
Yeah. I just want to read out one small passage from the article that was released today about like the next phase in agentic judges. I think it's like a interesting way to think about it is like anywhere high quality human judgment is the bottleneck, compositional evaluation, which is how judges are working right now, offers a path forward and offers a system where machines scale the reach and humans anchor the values. And I think like that's just we've been beating the drum on this idea that agentic future with humans in the loop, right? Like agents should expand humanity, not diminish it. And we can achieve that outcome, and we can achieve that outcome on Ethereum.
Yeah, totally. Appreciate that. What a great way. Great way to close it.
I just want to say one last thought on this, right? I've been thinking a lot about this whole agentic ecosystem, and I feel like a lot of people are like, okay, now the agents are here, what's left for us to do? But I think it's great that if you think about agents actually so much expand our capabilities. So the difference now is not really execution. You can do whatever you want. You can build whatever you want. It's just what do you want to build? It's just the intention. So the humans can set the intention, the agents can do the execution, and then you can be paid on Ethereum. Worldwide, permissionlessly. It doesn't matter who you are, where you are, what your real identity is. If you can add value to humanity, you will get value back. And I think that's really powerful for this next paradigm.
Yeah. If you can create value, you'll get value. And couldn't agree with that more. And yeah, like you mentioned, agents and AI, it will never replace human intent. And human intent is now the number one most important thing that you need as a builder, that you need as a partner, that we all need. And we need to put our intention of like where we want to see these things going, and use agents to help scale it and help make things more reality, and do that like the grind work and the execution, but it's humans that come in with the intention. So we're so excited that this is going to just enable access, context, knowledge, funding opportunities at a really large scale that we couldn't do on our own. So big thank you big shout out to Folio, Bonfires, Benji, Austin, all of you guys, every single partner who participated, every single builder who participated, everyone who's watching this right now and part of the ecosystem. Like literally, this is just an example of how powerful the Ethereum ecosystem is at getting people all around the world towards a shared mission, building together, creating the future, and would not be possible without all of you guys. And yeah, for anyone who's curious about the official partner announcement, we're having a few partners are rolling out their specific tracks, but we'll have everything announced early next week, all of the official partners, including the open track. If you're curious, you want to get we have 28 partners we're coordinating with, and they all do these 4 rounds of reviews. So they're really in depth. So that's why there's like a bit of like a little lag, little delay. But we're getting all of this announced early next week. So stay tuned. And yeah, we're so excited for everything. With that, thank you all. Woo!
Thanks, guys.
Good work, you guys. There we go. Yeah, one of these.